So I found the upper arms on the front and a little bit of play in the ball joints, so I need to replace them anyways. And well, one, I was kind of surprised that these aren't camber adjustable, because the second gen Prelude had it on its upper arms, and this is supposed to be more upscale. So anyways, I decided instead of trying to just replace the whole thing, I'll just design a whole new upper arm that's more like the Prelude. It accepts the Prelude upper ball joint. It gives me a camber adjustment. And this is an aftermarket joint. Obviously, the stock joint's a little bit more substantial here. That's what that cutout's for. The stock one that's all the way back, there's just enough clearance. And to back that up, I've also just made a little piece like that. Put the nuts on. That'll give it extra support if it needs. And I also put little notches so I can, when it's in those notches, it's in exactly the same length as this. So it's a good starting point. The last thing I did is just this surface and this. Those are both stainless, because I know when I'm adjusting it, the ball joint's gonna be rubbing on it. I'll just stop it from corroding. Anyways, I got it tacked together. I'm gonna test fit it. If it's all good, fully weld it, powder coat it, and install it. All right, it seems good. I've got it fully extended, which I'll never actually use the camber adjustment I added. I just went maximum at each direction I could, but realistically I only use a little bit of it. Anyways, even at full extension, still plenty of room. There's a spring good. The studs are what touch first. There's just a tiny amount of space up in here before the ball joint touches. It won't be a problem because I'll never compress the suspension that far, but if I did need more, it would be easy. I could just knock these out, put them back in from the top, and just have the nuts on the bottom if I really needed, but it's going to be fine like this. I coated them in forged charcoal from prismatic powders. Here's the rest side assembled, ready to go on. Right now I'm just setting them into the default position. I'll do the alignment at some point in the future. I knew this car was going to need a bigger rear sway bar because it has a decent amount of understeer. Obviously, well, I looked online, obviously there's nothing available anymore. I think there used to be like a 20mm bar you could buy. So I took a 3D scan of the rear suspension and started designing one. And luckily, just like the 3rd gen Prelude, there's enough room to get a straight bar in there. I don't have to mess around with a bunch of bends or anything. And this sway bar I'm designing here is 22mm. Alright, here's the sway bar tacked together. Testing it. So you got enough clearance. Just clearance here. It's not touching, and these could be adjusted down a little bit anyways if it was, but it is pretty close there. So I think I'm gonna take it off and weld it up, get it powder coated, and install it. I got the sway bar back from the powder coater and installed it. Although I forgot to film the installation, but it's pretty simple. Next modification is a 1991 Prelude steering wheel. I like the styling 3-spoke better. And that'll also allow me to get rid of this badge, switch it to Honda. Initial investigation. That part of the Prelude steering wheel doesn't stick out far enough. So you install this, it sits way too close. So I'm going to have to cut that off, extend it out, weld it back on. Also, there's no holes that line up to attach the Prelude slip ring, so I'll have to figure out something for that. Alright, to extend this, I'm going to have to cut this off. So I got the wheel wrapped in painter's tape and foils to protect it from any sparks. Alright, to extend the steering wheel, what I'm doing is I've got this tube. Here's the spline part. And spare column. So this almost fits tightly, it's a little bit loose. But I'm gonna eyeball it as best I can, center tack weld it, then I'm gonna spin this, basically look for any wobble. I don't want the steering wheel to go like this or do that when I'm turning it. So it may take a few attempts. Once I get it tacked pretty good, it's not wobbling or anything, then I can move on and do the final welding. Alright, I think I've got it all figured out now. So I printed a little spacer for this, because this needs to come out slightly. This is the thing that clicks off the turn signal when you turn the steering wheel. I'll go on there. Here's the adapter I've come up with. They'll let me bolt this using those original holes. And then the steering wheel goes on. There it is. Been daily driving it. Works just like stock. Horn works, these work. And it's pretty easy actually. The wire colors for the horn and the cruise control are exactly the same, so real easy. There was a gap there, so I 3D printed this piece for now. I think eventually I'm gonna make a whole new piece right here that matches up to the column. Because if you look at the column covers, they're not actually centered on the wheel. They're kind of the size a little bit, sticks out a little bit further, so I'll have to do something custom there and replace this. Unfortunately, that radio I installed, the buttons, the toggle paddle buttons started to go bad, so I sent it back for warranty repair. I stole this out of my Prelude. So the upper control arms are working great, no problems with those. The rear sway bar really helped with the handling, much less understeer. And I think that's it for this video.